The first time Captain Eli Mercer saw the Virellian fleet form up on the holo map, he thought it looked beautiful, like a school of silver fish gliding through black water. The second time, they were firing on his ships. "Status?" Eli asked. His voice stayed calm, clipped, the way he'd trained it to be. "Shields holding at 70%. 2 drones down. Fleet pattern Delta is still in play," replied Lieutenant Harper, fingers flying over the control interface. The Resolute Dawn shook again as another plasma lance hit its forward plating. Across the command deck, holograms flickered, enemy positions updating, formations shifting. It looked like chaos. But to Eli, it was elegant chaos, a game of strategy, a puzzle. And games were what humans did best. When the Galactic Compact had invited Earth to the simulation leagues, humanity had treated it like a curiosity, a chance to play alien war games, test tactics, and prove their intellect in a safe, simulated environment. But the Virellians hadn't come to play. They'd used the simulations as practice for invasion, and now the games were real. Eli had once been the best sim tactician in Earth's competitive leagues. He'd spent years commanding fleets that only existed in data, every decision a keystroke, every battle a lesson. Now the stakes were different. Every loss meant lives. Every misstep meant death. But the board? The board was still the same. "Harper," Eli said, pacing toward the holo display. "Run the ripple maneuver." The lieutenant frowned. "Sir, that's from the old sim files. We've never tried that in real combat." That's the point. He watched as the digital overlay danced across the display, his fleet curving like a wave, baiting the Virellian hunters into chasing false signals. "They'll think we're retreating," Harper murmured. "Exactly," Eli said, allowing himself a faint smile. "And when they overextend?" He tapped the display. "We strike." The Virellian flagship loomed on the horizon, massive, organic, pulsing with blue biolight. Their ships weren't built. They were grown. Living engines of war. Humans built machines. The Virellians grew predators. "Contact in 30 seconds, Harper said. The bridge fell silent. The hum of the ship filled the air. Crew members glanced up at Eli, waiting for a sign, a word, a spark of confidence. Eli simply whispered, "It's all just a game. Play to win." Then the stars exploded. Missiles spiraled. Plasma beams carved the dark. Eli's voice cut through the chaos. "Hold formation. Wait for them to commit, now! Reverse vector, all cruisers swing wide." His fleet danced, twisting through the debris like chess pieces in motion. The Virellians surged forward, smelling blood. And that's when Eli sprung the trap. Deploy echo drones. Hundreds of small, reflective pods burst from the Resolute Dawn, scattering light and false signatures. The enemy sensors blinked, confused. Targets multiplied, signals echoed, chaos reigned. "Fire everything at Grid 6, Eli shouted. A moment later, the void lit up like dawn. The Virellian spearhead shattered. "Hit confirmed," Harper breathed. "They're pulling back!" Eli leaned on the console, exhaling. Of course they are. They don't know how to lose. The Virellians had never played games. To them, war was instinct, survival. They didn't understand the human mindset, to take defeat, learn, adapt, and try again. Humans played with failure until they mastered it. Eli smiled faintly. That's why they'd win. Hours later, in the quiet aftermath, the holocom flickered to life. The Virellian warlord appeared, a towering creature of glassy skin and luminous veins. "You fight as though this is recreation," it hissed through the translator. Eli shrugged. "In a way, it is. You trained in war your whole life. We trained in games. Strategy, simulation, iteration. You fight to survive. We fight to learn." The warlord's tendrils twitched. "You mock us." "No," Eli said softly. "I'm warning you." He leaned closer to the holo. "Humans don't give up. When we lose, we respawn. When we fall, we reload. And when we win, he paused, letting the silence stretch. We press next level. That night, as the fleet drifted in orbit, Harper found him on the observation deck, staring at the stars. "Sir," she said quietly, "the men are saying this feels like The Sims again." Eli smiled faintly. "That's the idea. The Virellians expect soldiers. They're fighting players." She hesitated. "Do you ever feel bad? Treating real battles like a game?" Eli didn't answer right away. He just watched a distant sun flare to life. "Every move I make costs lives," he said finally. "So I'd rather think like a gamer, detached, strategic, than let fear make me hesitate. The board doesn't care about feelings, only outcomes." He turned to her. "But remember this, Harper. The difference between us and them isn't that we play games. It's that we care who's sitting across the board." Days later, the final battle came. The Virellians threw everything they had, swarms of living ships, ion storms, psychic pulses that made the hulls groan. Eli's fleet was battered, bleeding but unbroken. "Harper, tell them the rule," he said. She blinked. "The rule?" He grinned. "Rule number 1 of gaming," she smiled, catching on. "Never quit before the final round." Exactly. The human fleet surged forward, damaged, limping, defiant. Every tactic Eli had learned from 1,000 virtual wars came alive. Feints, loops, sacrificial plays, timing the cooldowns, baiting aggression. It was messy. It was brutal. It was brilliant. When the last Virellian ship burned out, the stars went still. Later, when the survivors gathered around the hollow table, Harper spoke softly. "Sir, we won." Eli stared at the quiet expanse outside the viewport. "Yeah," he said finally. "We did." Then he added, almost to himself, "Funny thing about games, when you play long enough, you stop playing to win. You play because it's who you are." He looked at his crew, bruised, tired, grinning despite everything. "Reset the board," he said. "We've got more to learn.